How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, very good, thank you.
Nice break?
Yeah, very nice, thank you.
Good. How's the squad looking in terms of Dom, his surgery, Kyler Mawani, Bissouma, Ben Davis? Hope I've included everyone.
All fine compared to last time. Kolomani have trained now for 2 weeks with the team, so that's good. He looks better and better. He will be in contention for the squad for tomorrow, so that's positive. Dom's progressed well after the surgery, been on pitch. I actually don't know if it was today, but it definitely was the 2 days before that. So the detail is he's progressing and he's going forward, so that's good. Bis unfortunately had a situation with national team. I think everyone saw that, unfortunately. So he got a ligament injury to his ankle. They'll keep him out for weeks. Yeah.
Great. Okay, and then obviously big news this week, the return of Fabio Paratici. It's an exciting one. I think a lot of Spurs fans are quite excited by it. In your eyes, how will it work, all of you together?
Yeah, also positive about it. Obviously, Fabio worked as a consultant for the club, so met him there a few times in the last couple of months. Looking forward to get to know him more. Of course, when it's more day to day, you will get to know each other even better. Looking forward to work together. I'm not in doubt that Fabio, Johan, I, and Vinay will create a very, very strong team. And together, I'm convinced that we can create something very good. And I really, I'm used to work with two sports directors. I've done that for 9 years in Brentford, first with Phil Giles and Rasmus Angersen, then Phil Giles and Lee Dykes. I actually think you need two these days to cover everything because it's such a big job. And I think also the two of them complement each other.
You've just answered my second question.
Good. That's why I'm so good. Okay, done. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, I was going to say, because I know you had it at Brentford, so did you have an input into it? Did you sort of speak to Vinay and say, do you know what, Vinay? I had to before, and it worked well for me. And the actual role of the sporting director is so vast now.
Yeah, I would say there was thoughts about it. Of course, it happens when the first time when I spoke about it, I was a little bit like you said there, very positive about it, because I think it will work very well, and I think there is no one that is perfect in this world, and I think the way the strong abilities both Johan and Fabio have, I think that they complement each other so well. So it's like a perfect match. So they just like this, and then we cover more together.
Vinay says he expects disagreements because everyone's different. Will you hope to have the final say if it's a player potentially in January or the summer?
I'll always have a final say. You know that, yeah, of course. In the end, no, it's teamwork. I'm pretty sure if one of the, I would say 3 of us, because Vinay is, as he's saying himself, not technical or whatever you call it. Of course, he will have an opinion, but the 3 of us need to agree. And if one, let's take an example, doesn't matter if it's me, Fabio, and is very, very, very strong, they should not be the player, then there's probably not that right. So I'm pretty sure that we will find a good way together.
Good luck Sunday.
Thank you.
So it's good to see you. By my reckoning, you've got 7 games coming up in the next 22 days. I presume after the start that Tottenham Hotspur have had this season, that fills you with excitement and not apprehension.
Oh yeah, definitely. We love to play games. Every footballer loves to play a game instead of training. Coaches, we like to train a little bit more sometimes, but in general, no, we love to play the games. We have a fantastic run of games ahead of us, starting with Villa on Sunday. The top team, top manager, Unai. Respect him a lot. I think what he's done in his career is amazing. What he created at Villa is fantastic in so many areas. I think they did well in Champions League last season and almost qualified for the Champions League again, which is very impressive. And I think they have a very strong team. So looking forward to it.
Does the fact that you've managed to do what you have done as a squad so far this season, having missed out on a couple of key players, if you like, due to injury, does that whet the appetite for what could be achieved once you do have all those players back?
Yeah, I think we all have an idea in our head what could be the strongest team with all players available. But probably reality is that you need to create the strongest possible team of the players you have available now. That is my task, that is my job, and get the best out of that. So it's nice to dream a little bit, but like with all dreams, it's not reality. Reality is here now, what kind of players we have available, and then I need to perform for them. That said, of course, I would love some of them to be fit and available.
Just on Aston Villa, I know you mentioned them before, but 13th in the Premier League table, just a couple of wins for them so far this season. Are you a little bit surprised with what you've seen from them, considering just how good they've been over the past couple of years?
This is meant positive. I would say no, because when I see them performing and their structure and the way they play, I see a lot of the same that I've seen from Unai Emery's Villa team the last 3 seasons. I see a lot of the same strengths. They're very, very good in the build-up and in phase 2 and have a fantastic structure. They're very composed and have fantastic players. We know in Rodgers has been doing fantastic. Ollie Watkins, Marlon now score goals. Unana in midfield, Kamara. I know Tielemans injured, but that's a top team. The back four is very good as well. So it's a team, and you can see they're growing. And I expect a unbelievable tight game on Sunday. That we're very positive about, and that we will do everything to edge, and we hope and I believe we can. But that'll be a strong test on Sunday.
Good luck.
Thank you.
George.
Thanks, and Thomas, one of my colleagues on the BBC website has done a really interesting article about XG and Premier League clubs and the start to the season. And it just got me thinking, how much has it taken influence in you as a manager that data has developed over the years? And I just wondered, how much info do you use with data in regards to your approach to match days in your squads, really?
Not too much to match days, I would say. I use data, of course, I've done that for a long time. To create the right narrative that I want to maybe get across to the players or to you guys to make sure we get the right message out there. That's one thing. Secondly, I think it's good to have another indicator or benchmark that you could look towards that are analyzing performance. But my eyes and my knowledge or principles of what I believe in is always the most important thing. But I think it's very important to have the stats to back up the performance either way, good or bad. Because sometimes, I put it to top corner 2 times, you won 2-0, everything is beautiful. But we were actually absolutely in terms of XG and shot against and all that. So we need to use both, I think.
And just in terms of your approach to this season, I've noticed a couple of things. You've been really clinical in front of goal. I think you've been overperforming there. Vicario's done very well the other end. Just what have you made when you look at the stats at your start season? Does it match up with what your eyes are telling you after these games?
Yeah, I think there is yes and no. I think there's some areas I've been very happy with. So that is not only XG. Both ends, that's very simple to look at. I look at that as well. Of course, I always wanted to be top and the other end, but I think 7 games is a very small sample in general. So there's elements as part of our game I've been very pleased with. For example, the high pressure, a bit of the phase 1 as well. I think our middle pressure is getting better and better, for example. And then a big thing for me, number of crosses and arriving in the box. We are in the top, and I think that's key for me. Because if we put a lot of crosses in, hopefully more with quality, have enough players arriving in there, in the right gaps and the right areas, that will give us a big opportunity for scoring goals. So that's the bits I'm looking into.
Brilliant, that's great. Thank you.
Thank you, welcome.
George at the back, please.
Thomas,
just want to touch about a couple of your strikers first of all. With Dom, do you think it's likely we see him during this kind of 22-day period before the next international break? And do you need to be kind of cautious with him, or once he's trained a little bit, you can kind of come straight back in?
I think the good thing is positive. He's progressing now, but he's still training on his own. So I don't want to be too excited or too negative either way. So I'm actually taking a little bit day by day and week by week to see how quick he progresses. Dom is a natural fit player. There's some players that naturally get that fitness up to a high level. But of course, we also need to take into consideration he basically hasn't trained with the team since July. But that's not the same. It will take 3 months to get up to pace. It will take a little bit of time to get up to pace. How long, I don't know.
And you mentioned Randall Colomani is back training. I mean, now he's back and he's played 45 minutes. Then how sort of excited are you to actually get him out on the pitch? And I think he's played 1 or 2 games, hasn't he, for Spurs, but actually to use him during this busy period.
Oh, I think it's very important to have him fit and available. I think he looks better and better. I think it's also fair to say that he has trained 2 weeks with the team. When he came 1st September, what is it? Oh my God, that's 6-7 weeks ago. Time flies. He still needed a bit to go up to the higher level. So, but it's not the same that he can't be involved tomorrow and maybe can play minutes. But I think it's fair to say they need a little bit of time to get up to fully firing.
And just finally for me, Tottenham's home form in the Premier League has been quite poor for quite a while now. Mainly before your time. And I guess looking at the fixtures, you've got Aston Villa, Chelsea, Man United. On paper, they seem hard fixtures, but they're the sort of type of home games you're going to relish over this period to kind of correct this home form, which has been a long hangover.
Yeah, I think in general, every team, and now I can speak for us, Tottenham Hotspurs, we would like our home to be a fortress. That is the ultimate aim. Can we make our home an unbelievable difficult place to come to? Then the job is half done in terms of what we like to try to achieve, and that is like a unbelievable cohesion between the team and the fans, and then I need to go hand in hand. It cannot only be the team and not only be the fans. It needs to be both, and we need to bring energy to each other. And I think that is absolutely key. And we need to do everything that we can to work unbelievable hard, perform well. Try to be positive, all that, but also need a little bit of help, because we know football in every game goes a little bit up and down. You have good spells, bad spells. The Premier League is the most relentless league in the world. It's so difficult to compete in. So we need the fans, especially in the tough moments. The better they can be behind the team, the not easy because it'll be easier. The better it will be, and they will feel more success for the team. So we need that. But when our fans are behind the team and the stadium is rocking, I think it's one of the best places in the world.
Finish this section with Brian, please.
Hi, Thomas. Wilson Odobert and Matthias Tell had a really great international break for France under 21, scoring 6 goals, I think, between them and linking up. How pleasing was that, and how keen are you to sort of continue sort of trying to help them fulfil their potential, because it's clear they're 2 very exciting young players?
Yeah, I agree. I think it was so nice to see both of them perform well for their country, and I agree. I watch all their assists and goals and actions from their games, and it's nice to bring. I think sometimes you are in momentum and you're in good rhythm, and clearly both of them are in a good rhythm, scoring goals, performing well, having good actions. So I think that's key. I'm pleased with both players in general. I think they are developing. And taking steps in the right direction. So I think it's positive.
And just going back to Randall, you mentioned how quickly the time's gone since he signed. I think it's nearly 2 months now. Obviously, he'll have his eyes set on the World Cup, played a big part in Qatar with France last time. Have you spoken to him about that? Because it's a huge thing for a player to go to the World Cup, and time is of the essence. And how long do you think it will be before we see him, or the Randall Colomani that Spurs signed?
I don't know. I think the World Cup is far away from in general, and I understand that the players are thinking about it. I haven't spoken to him about it, if I'm honest, because I think for any player to want to be involved in World Cup, you need to play, and for whatever reason, he hasn't been able to do it yet. What I'm focusing on is to make sure that he is in a good place. Try to get him into his best possible performance level, and when he are in that best possible performance level, he will hopefully do very well for us, and then the rest will take care of itself.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll end the broadcast section. Move on to the Embargoed section for 10:30 p.m. tonight. Matt?
Hey.
On home form, is it harder to build a fortress when the stadium's so nice?
It shouldn't be. I think, haven't they thought a lot about the acoustic in the stadium, so it should sound very loud when the fans is behind the team, so I guess that's part of it. I think, as I said before, I think can we have that cohesion and energy between fans and team? I think there can be unbelievable sound and noise and energy in the stadium that hopefully can push us forward.
Can I say about Fabio?
Yeah.
Everybody seems to have welcomed him back and be pleased that he's here. Is there any part of anybody that feels like it's unedifying to have someone who's been embroiled in scandal like he has in such a visible position?
I think it's something, of course, I've heard about. Don't know too much about the details. I know Fabio as a good guy the times I've met him, and I think he got a lot of quality, and look forward to work with him.
Well, what is it, do you think, about his talent that makes people happy to overlook things that they might dwell on? I mean, what when you say that him and Johan will complement each other, what are the complementary strengths?
No, I think Johan is very good to put in good structures, and been building that recruitment department, our insight department, our analysis department, and I think that to put those structures in, plus of course, how can you oversee players in and out for the recruitment. I think Fabio come with another angle and another experience from 10 years in Italy, with a great network and a great eye and great vision for football, and I think the way they complement in there, I think is very good.
When you're operating like at the elite end of football, how important is recruitment? How simply getting the right players?
I think culture will for me always be the most important thing. Then you can say coaching / style of play, developing players, and then as a second area, and not in any specific order. Culture always first, but the coaching as important, and then recruitment I think is key. And my coaches, we're not magicians. They know the better potential, the better player, the better possibility to get success. So recruitment is very important.
Matt?
Hi Thomas. You spoke there about how important home form is and sort of building that fortress. We saw during the international break that there's plans for La Liga match we played in America, Syria match played in Australia. What do you make, I guess, of that as a concept, league matches being played abroad?
Personally, I prefer the league matches need to play in the country they belong in. So a Premier League match needs to be played in England, in my opinion. I understand that the football or the world is not as it used to be 20 years ago, because that's how the world is developing, and how can you say not changing but developing? That's just how does things progress and develop and change a bit. But for me, Premier League games need to be played in England.
Would you be sort of localised with the hierarchy here, or if the club ever sort of had plans, would you be vocal and trying to make
No,
it didn't happen?
yeah, I have no problem saying that. I think it should be played in England. If you play in England, if I have the power to stop it, probably not. But at least I can raise my voice.
And we also saw during the international break the cash injection from the Lewis family. have you had sort of discussions about how much of that will be available in January, what that means for sort of January plans?
I think first and foremost, I think it's hugely positive that Louis' family is clearly shown their interest in do everything they can to improve the club and back the club and want us to be as successful as possible. And I think that's a sign of it, that they are injecting cash into the club. Also because that's the thing I'm learning here with all the scrutiny. I think it's helping me a little bit with, it's remarkable the 3 rumors about takeovers get so big. I'm so glad I'm not reading too much newspapers and nothing in social media and just listening a little bit to the brief you gave me before, Anthony, and then you guys ask me questions because you can think too much about that. But the key thing is they show their big interest publicly. In try to help the club. We know it internally, and how we will spend the money. Of course, we'll keep that for ourselves.
And last one, obviously, that money I'm sure is going to be used for different things.
No, what? Sorry.
That money will be used for various different things. Could you see, particularly maybe with owners being more ambitious, more engaged, a scenario in which Tottenham are able to spend 100 million on one player?
I don't know. I think this world you get surprised sometimes both ways. I think for me, if you spend 10, 100 and 150 million, for me that's, of course, there's difference in the amount. I think the most important thing is that we have a very good recruitment strategy, and we're very aware of what we are recruiting and what we want in, and then from there take smart decisions. So let's see.
Elias.
Richarlison started the season really brightly, performances against PSG and on the opening day of the league season. Kind of different performances, but kind of showed what he was about in a complete way. What outside of the goals does Richarlison do on the pitch that what are his strongest attributes outside of scoring goals, really?
I think you're also some nice stats on that. I think actually his hold-up play when he needs to protect the ball and in difficult situations, actually make sure we can sustain the attack. I think that's a big thing. I think his movements in the box, I think, is very good. I think his linker play is at a good level, and I think as a pressing player, when he's up to his highest, I think he's good. He's smart, he's clever, he cut the ankles, he does the right things.
And also Oliveira as well, speaking on him, again, fantastic international break for him. You kind of touched on it. Is that kind of building confidence at the international level, club level, probably key for him to kind of continue stepping up the levels and being an important player? I
think every game you play, the more confidence you can gain, the better. And I think he's been taking his good form from us. I think he actually played some good games for us into the international team, on the under-21s team for France, scoring 4 goals. I think it was 2 assists. I think it was. It was very impressive, and some of his actions was at a high level. So you need to constantly build on that.
Jacob.
Talk about leading the fans in the home games. Do you think that you've given the fans maybe enough in those games so far?
Enough what?
In terms of performance, because you want the fans, but it's often the case that the fans respond to the team and the way that they're playing.
But one thing I know is that it's very rare they can play a perfect game through 90 minutes. It's very rare you play a perfect game throughout the season. I've said it before, we play 60, maybe play 10 perfect games. So that means there's 50 left where we can't excite every single minute. And I'm pretty sure the fans are in a way that if they see a team that is running very hard, fighting for the shirt and the badge, that do everything they can to try to win the game, I think that should be the foundation. Then I'm very aware that we also need to play positive and attacking and happy football, or whatever you call it. That can get people off their seat. I think that's very important as well. So that, of course, we need to do what we can. I also think we need to bring energy from ourselves. But I also think it's fair to say when it's not going well enough, we need the help. That's very simple. So I don't know how you react if you want to be shouted at or want to be guided. So I think it's the same with any other player.
Guided is always.
Yeah.
It looks like it's been a little bit easier for the team in the away games. I mean, is that do you think maybe just down to the creative blend in the home games? Is it expectation, pressure that it goes up that makes it a little bit harder?
That I don't know exactly. I think it's a fair question. I think I said to before. I think in terms of, I think we played a very good first half against Wolves. We created a lot. I think we played overall good game against Burnley home. We also did a lot of good bits in the first half. Then I agree we were not good against Bournemouth. Was that it? I think in Premier League. So now and throughout those games, you can see it. You can also see that our front four from last season is not available. So there's a new front four. So that we're working very hard on. And I think actually there's been promising sign of it from some of the players now, Mo, Wilson, Xavi. So hopefully it'll be better.
Just lastly, I know you said the World Cup's a long way away, but did you have anything to say to Jed Spence because he did qualify? What kind of mood does he come back in?
I said congratulations to both Jed and Mohamed Kudus. Both of them qualified their countries to the World Cup, so that's a big thing.
So Jed this week, he started twice for England, 2 different positions. He's putting in Rabona crosses against Latvia, so he looks like somebody whose confidence is really up. But, I mean, is the challenge now for him just to keep that going because he's been doubted in the past?
Doubted that it was, sorry?
He's been doubted in the past.
No, yeah, well, of course. I think in life, but also in football, one thing is to get to the top or whatever. That takes hard work to get there. The next bit is to be able to stay there on a consistent level, which is even more important. So he just needs to continue, and I think it's fantastic. He got confidence. We need that.
Finish with John, please.
Hi, Thomas. It's interesting what you said about the stats, looking at the stats and then looking at what you've seen with your own eyes. With Vicario, I think he's got amazing stats at the moment. Most shots saved, goals prevented, passes as well. But yet there's a perception with some people that maybe he's vulnerable at crosses. Is that a fair assessment where he's at?
Vulnerable at crosses or doing well?
Well, both.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, is he doing as well as the stats? And is he as bad at crosses as some people say?
Yeah, the last bit definitely not. I think actually Vic is quite good for crosses, if I'm honest. I think it's probably the most difficult area for a keeper because there's a lot of bodies in the box. You take a decision: are you going for it, not going for it? How brave can you be? I'm quite happy with him in that area. Can he improve? Yeah. I think that's natural. I think he had some crucial saves this season that really kept us in games at times. And any team need a good keeper that can pull that save out, because we normally face a team that also want to score, try to score. So, for example, against Leeds, I think he had some key saves in the end of the game.
And with Kolo Muani, obviously he's a player that almost everybody's just seen on the telly. He's playing World Cup 5. Is he a man who can, once he's fit, can be the number one striker in this place? That's the idea.
I think Kolo is a very good player. Very excited that we managed to sign him, and now really looking forward to have him playing some minutes and consistent minutes throughout some games, and hopefully show more and more what he's capable of. I think Kolo can play both as a striker, but can also play as a winger, mainly to the left, could also play as a winger. So I think hopefully he can perform to his highest, and we can see him starting for us.
How frustrating was it? It was a dead leg. It's a world record timeout for a dead leg. So a bit unlucky, that one.
Yeah, I think that's very unlucky. I think it depends a little bit where it is and how much it bleeds and stuff like that. But the good thing is now he's fit and he's training, so hopefully we'll go in the right direction.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Good.